Hello, everyone. I am John Howe, financial planner here at Generation Capital Management, with another episode of John's Top Tips. Today, let's talk about leasing a car. Global pandemic has put new cars in short supply, so this video might not be great in terms of timing. But it is a good idea to talk about this topic so that you can at least understand how leasing works and how it's different from financing a car. Leasing is a little bit more complex. So let's kind of dig into it a little bit. First thing to know is that leasing, it doesn't work like buying. There are a ton of differences between buying and leasing a car. But leasing can actually be a good financial tool under the right circumstances. You most likely know that with a lease, you have a certain amount of miles that you're allowed to drive during a certain period of time, usually 24 to 36 months. Then you have to turn the car in at the end of that term. It's also really important to understand that calculating lease payments isn't just as simple as basically figuring out how much you're financing, adding some interest, and then dividing that over the amount of time that you're going to be making those payments. There are a bunch of different aspects that go into calculating a lease payment. These are things like the money factor, the residual value of the car, the actual original asking price of the car, the selling price of the car, incentives. All of these different pieces go into this calculation. It's a very complex process. And with that having been said, there's one very important piece to remember when you're leasing a car, and that's don't put any money down on a lease. It's fine to pay taxes, title, registration, those types of things out of pocket, but putting money down on a lease doesn't actually do anything for you other than prepay the lease. It will lower your monthly payment, but instead you're putting that money up front instead of paying it over a period of time. And that's okay. The downfall is that if that money is at risk, if you were to ever get in an accident with the car, if the car were to ever be totaled, you might not get that money back that you already put down on the car. It's better to keep that money in your pocket if you can, and then pay that money out slowly over time. It might make your monthly payment a little bit higher, but if you can't afford the monthly payment, then maybe you need to be looking at a different car. Or if you want to put money down and have a lower payment, then maybe look at financing a different car too. And here are some tips to keep in mind if you are at the end of your lease. If you're almost at the end of your lease, be sure to reach out to different car dealerships. There, you can reach out to local dealerships. You can reach out to a couple of different websites. There's a website called Vroom, Carvana. You've probably heard of CarMax. There are a bunch of different websites that will give you offers to buy out your lease. These are companies that have kind of made it their job to try to give you good offers on used cars so that they can build up inventory. Now, the one thing that you do have to watch out for is that some leasing companies have actually changed their agreements and changed their rules so that they won't let you sell to a place like Carvana or Vroom. But if you can sell to a place like Carvana or Vroom, right now, the values on used cars are such that that most people are driving around in leases with equity in their leases. So if they were to get a quote for a lease buyout from a dealership or a place like Vroom or Carvana, they might find that their lease buyout from one of these places would actually be higher than what their payoff is through their financing company. And what that means is that instead of just turning in your keys, going to the dealership, dropping off your car, turning in your keys, and potentially even paying a disposition fee at the end of your lease, what you can do is you can end up with some money in your pocket instead, and a place like Carvana or Vroom can be driving off with your car instead of you just ending up with no money in your pocket or even potentially having to pay just for the courtesy of turning your car in. Now, you might not be surprised to hear that I wrote a blog about this. So be sure to visit our website, gencapmgmt.com. Go to our resources tab and look for the blog. You'll see what we wrote there, what we've posted. There should be some more in-depth information there for you to kind of get in the weeds about this. Should be some good links and some good resources for you to check out. And of course, as always, if you have any questions or any concerns, just reach out to us. We're more than happy to help. Again, my name is John Howe. I'm the financial planner here at Generation Capital Management, and this was John's Top Tips.